We are approximately 2 weeks from today. It will be report day. It will be report day. My brother will be holding it down. I will not be at report day because I will be working on a top secret project that I cannot talk about right now, but a very exciting project. We'll be shooting in
Oh,
Los Angeles.
oh,
Very
top secret.
very
Oh,
very top
oh,
secret project.
oh, oh.
I will inform you guys off there. Very top secret project that I am working on right now. So, I will not be at report day, but my brother will be at report day, giving you all the interviews of all the players. You know, thoughts on arriving to camp. So that'll be interesting to talk about. But we're gonna the first practice, at least for in general, will be July 20th for the Bears. The fans can't come until July 26th, and I know I'm gonna sound very rich people problems right here, but I hate fan practice days. I say this is a man who is about to begin his fourth season covering the team. It's way too much traffic on fan practice days. And add the HBO element to that this year. It's gonna be even more hectic. But we're gonna be doing division breakdowns each week leading up to week one, and we're gonna start. We're not gonna do any. We're not gonna make any picks until we have our NFL preview show. That'll probably be the week of week one and the week before week one. But we're gonna just give State of the Union of each team, and kind of the top storylines in that. We're gonna call this inside the division. So this one we're gonna start off with the beloved inside the NFC North. So we're gonna go around the table with each team. So it's only right that we start off with a team that won the NFC North last year, and that is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions went 12-5 last season, was a half away from advancing to their first ever Super Bowl. And now they're coming here. They a new extension for Amon-Ra St. Brown, new extension for Jared Goff. They've added a couple nice pieces in the trenches in the offseason. They're primed to take it to the next level so they can actually advance to their Super Bowl. For me, it's like this, man, with the Lions, and I say this with not trying to be too high on the Bears or anything like that, but just based off how they've played against them recently last year. I'm not worried about the Detroit Lions. I'm a Bears fan. But I do think that now it's going to be a little different. In the words of Bane, nobody gives a damn about the Detroit Lions. All the eyes are going to be on them. Not to say that they snuck up on anybody last year, because they, with them almost making the playoffs year before, so they didn't sneak up on anybody, but now they're top in the division. They won the division for the first time in 30 years. They know they were a half of Dan Campbell playing Madden from going to Super Bowl. So can they take that? They're playing a first place schedule now. They weren't playing a first place schedule last year. Now the schedule is a little favorable. They don't play an outside game, I don't think, till week 12. Like it's like something crazy like that, like with actual elements. I think the other teams they play either got domes or they're in warm weather cities, so they got that going for them there. But to me, the things I'm going to be looking forward to, will Jared Goff continue to play as well? Is he going to take a step back? Will Dan Campbell learn from the mistakes he made last year? Because if I was the players, I'd be upset. Dan Campbell, as much as he's done for that organization and for those players, he to me was one of the sole reasons, if not the sole reason, they lost to the San Francisco 49ers. So can he get out of his own way? Those are things I'm going to be looking for them. Will the defense be as dominant as they were last year? The secondary is a little better. The secondary was not good at all last year. And can Jameson Williams take it to the next level? Those are the things I'm going to be looking for, especially off year two of Jahmyr Gibbs. What's that's going to look like? Mikey, what are some things that you think about this Detroit Lions outlook heading into this new season?
Well, first off, I think it's going to start and then with the quarterback. Can Jared Goff continue to ascend in Ben Johnson's offense? I think it was the biggest win for them this offseason was retaining Ben Johnson because you keep that continuity. Those players in the offense, they know the offense. So now it's another year understanding his schemes, understanding his route trees, understanding where they need to go. For Jared Goff, it's the cadence, it's playing behind that stout offensive line. So I think that's their biggest acquisition of the offseason was retaining Ben Johnson. But for me, it's all going to come down to Jared Goff. Can Jared Goff continue to play at the level that we saw him play at last year? Uh, they have what they need in the trenches, offensively and defensively. We know they're going to be tough there. It's all just going to fall down on the quarterback. So I think that they're still going to be very good. You know, I know you said you're not worried about the Lions, and I'm not worried about the Lions either. The only people you need to worry about are the Bears. And, you know, the Bears need to worry about themselves. And that's, you know, just coming from us speaking as Bears fans. So I think the Lions are going to be solid. I don't think that there's going to be a drop off as far as them being prepared to play, because we know how Dan Campbell keeps his guys ready. I just think it's going to be contingent on, can Jared Goff continue to play at a high level, you know, at the quarterback position.
Bang, you infamously said nobody gives a fuck about nobody gives a damn about the Detroit Lions. Do you still feel that way? What do you think the things you're going to be looking at for them heading into this season?
Unfortunately, I don't still feel that way because of what
Oh
they've
man,
done. But it's a they got to prove it still. They got to prove it. I mean, they're more than capable now, but they got to prove it. And I'm looking at that defense, most notably that defensive backfield. With that defensive backfield, which should be improved, they spent the draft capital and free agency on that. We'll see what happens, but I'm not. They're not the boogeyman, or they're not like the top dog to me, to where we're looking at this and we're like, these Detroit Lions, they looking scary. No, they don't. They're not scary to me. But at the same time, no, we got to account for them. But that defensive backfield is going to need to be much improved if they want to keep a stranglehold on that division.
Dante, man, what you think about the Lions?
I think the biggest thing for the Lions is how do you manage expectations after your failure last year? Like you said, they were a half away from going to the Super Bowl. Some questionable decisions, decisions that you had made all season that have pretty much been a part of your play style, but they cost you the game at the end of the day. So, I want to see how the head coach adjusts, bringing the offensive coordinator back, which he made a very good point. He was like, when you look at the jobs out there, how many of these people are going to have a job in 3 years? So, he made a very good point saying he loved the personnel they had in Detroit, and they've added to that. So I want to see, how do you manage expectations, and how do you keep your team, hungry and driven, knowing that, windows close real fast in the NFL. I mean, he acknowledged it a bit after the loss. He said, I can't just say we're going to be back, because you never know. That's not how the league works. So I think, they still have a lot of expectations with their team. And, Jared Goff is still going to be a big part of everything they do. So, like I said, it's a matter of how do they manage the expectations coming into this season after being, a half away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that, man. Let's go to the team that finished number 2 in the division, the dreaded enemy, the Green Bay Packers, man. The Green Bay Packers finished second in the NFC North. Jordan Love's first year as the starter, he had an incredible not a rookie, but like kind of rookie season, which would have set Chicago Bears records. Threw for over 3,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And as much shit as I talk about the Packers, man, I was, even though I got to see it again, from not just him, I got to see it again from CJ Stroud. I got to see a lot from these year 2 quarterbacks. A lot of things change when you have a full summer of these defensive coordinators having film on you. So not to say that he can't do it, but it's going to be a little more interesting to see how it's going to be when he prepared. But coming off just sitting on the bench these last couple years and, sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, and we're now seeing just how much of a pain in the ass he is. He had an incredible season. He had a rough patch in the middle, but he really heated up towards the end of the season. 32 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, real good. The Packers themselves finished 9-8, won a playoff game, won and could have won two. They could have beat. One thing about the Niners should have lost both of them games to those NFC North teams they faced. But Jordan Love put up a crazy pass, like one of the funniest passes I've ever seen in my life, to Dre Greenlaw, which ended their season. But for me, the thing with Green Bay that I'm going to be looking at is kind of, can this young talent, they have the youngest roster in football, can they take that next level? They don't really have any big name wide receivers. Christian Watkins had a good season last year. Can he take it to the next level? What about Romeo Dobbs? And can we look at Jordan Love as a quarterback where we don't look at him kind of the same? We looked a little bit of Jared Goff when he was with the Rams. We knew it was all mainly Sean McVay feeding them. As great as Jordan Love was last year, we know a lot of that is LaFleur. like I said during the regular season, I was not familiar with your game, Matt LaFleur. I thought you were a product of Q Aaron and Aaron. I thought that was more of him more than his actual play calling. But that dude is a master play caller, and he's really, really moved him into that next level. So is Jordan Love going to be a player who is great no matter the system, or is he going to be somebody that he can still make the mistakes he made last year, maybe even more because teams know his tendencies, where he's going to throw here, when he's looking at this certain way, what's he going to be? Because there's more pressure on them now, because now Packer fans are expecting things. They're going to expect you to follow the lineage of a Brett Favre, who should be in prison, like Aaron Rodgers, who should also be in prison for no reason, but just because he needs to be in fucking prison. He's got to figure that thing out. So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to. And also the defense. The defense, I think is a little overrated. Can they take it to the next level as well? So I think they've got some of the same questions that I have for the Lions, but not as much pressure, because I don't think that the NFL as a whole is expecting the same things they're expecting from the Lions team-wise. But I do think a lot of NFL media and pundits are expecting Jordan Love to take that next leap, because we already see people talking about contract extensions off just 1 year. So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to see. Mikey, what you think about the enemy up north? What are you expecting to see from them, and what storylines you think they're going to have going into the camp and going into the 2024 season?
Yeah, I think the number one storyline obviously is just going to be Jordan Love's growth, and the fact that they're in a youth movement. They've moved on from some beloved up there in Wisconsin, beloved veterans, and David Bakhtiari. They've moved on from Aaron Jones. So you bring in somebody like Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has been saying he's been seeing things from Jordan Love that clearly, can show that he can be, one of those elite guys. And we saw it last year. He really does look like number 12 back there at times. So I just want to see now, similar to what you said, there's film on him. I think they need a guy at wide receiver. I truly do. I understand that, LaFleur was able to do a lot with little, Dontavius Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson when he was there, when he was available. They're all young players, good players. But if we think that defenses are going to go ahead and start clamping in on Jordan Love and making things a little bit difficult, I think he's going to need that for surefire number one wide receiver there that can go ahead and make things easy for him. So for me, that's what I want to see in the passing game. And defensively too, they went ahead and they made a change. Joe Barry is no longer their defensive coordinator. Obviously, there was a difference in philosophy there. So I want to see, how they come out. They do have some young pieces back there in that secondary, and they still have some nice pass rushers on the line. So it's just going to be really about youth on that offensive line, and Jordan Love going into year 2 as the guy if he can build on it.
Bang, what you think about our arch enemies?
I was really hoping that they was going back to the ghetto. I was hoping. I made all type of comments, statuses, everything that they was going back to the ghetto. And hopefully they go back to the ghetto. See, this is 1 year of Jordan Love, so I really believe that this is prove it time, and I understand why the Green Bay Packers is not running to give him a contract extension, because now different schedule, different team. We'll see. But at the back half of the year, if I am to believe that the Bears defense for the last 6 games of the season is what they will be this year, I have no reason to think that Jordan Love is not that either. So remains to be seen, but it looks like I'm not about to say they got them an Aaron Rodgers or a Brett Favre, but they got them a quarterback. We'll see if he's better than Don Majewski. Makowski, excuse me. Don Makowski. Let's see if he's better than Don Makowski.
Hey, man. I think for the first time in my life, even though I know that they're going to be a good team, and I do think the Packers are going to be a good team, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not picking the Bears to beat them because I learned my lesson the first time. But I'm not as afraid of them as before. Now that might
Right.
that might backfire on me, but that's just how I feel at this moment. Dante, what's your take on these Packers heading into this season?
Yeah, it's all about Jordan Love. I know we could talk about the defense and everything like that, but just seeing how he continues to grow. Because if he continues to grow, then that team is going to continue to be good and challenge for the division. Mikey said they made some changes on defense. I'm interested to see how that pans out because over the years we've seen them get smoked running the ball. They haven't been able to stop the run in the playoffs, and it's come back to bite them several times. So, seeing how they shore up their defensive line, shore up their run game, run defense, see how that goes. But I think at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to Jordan Love and what he does in year 2 and how he continues to grow. If he stalls, if he sees, a little bit of cracks in his game and teams are starting to adapt to him, then that's going to cause the Packers to suffer. And I really think this is a division like no, home bias aside. It's going to be really tough this year. It'll be really competitive. So they're going to need him to continue to grow and not, stall or take a step back. So that's what it's all about. It's going to be what Jordan Love does.
That paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold.